BRICS Summit becomes the headline. Now, what makes the BRICS Summit so important? It's not just another fancy meeting with leaders in tailored suits shaking hands and posing for awkward photos. This summit is where some of the world's most powerful emerging economies gather to discuss how they can counterbalance Western dominance in global politics and economics. But here's the kicker. Each BRICS nation has its own unique agenda, and bringing them together is no small feat. Today, we're diving deep into the latest BRICS summit and exploring Russia's ambitious plan to counter Western influence by partnering with emerging economies. Along the way, we'll break down the dynamics, the challenges, and the strategies that make BRICS a fascinating player in the global arena. Let's buckle up and get started. In August 2023, the BRICS nations came together for their annual summit, hosted by South Africa in the bustling city of Johannesburg. The BRICS Summit isn't just another diplomatic gathering. It's a platform where Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa discuss their shared vision for reshaping the global economic and political order. These 5 nations represent over 40% of the global population and account for nearly a quarter of the world's GDP, making BRICS a force to be reckoned with. This year's summit was particularly significant, given the current state of global geopolitics. Russia, under heavy Western sanctions due to its ongoing conflict in Ukraine, saw the BRICS summit as an opportunity to push back against the West and strengthen its ties with other emerging economies. The theme of the summit was rebalancing global influence, a goal that resonates deeply with BRICS members who often feel sidelined by Western-led institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. Let's take a closer look at BRICS and what it stands for. The acronym BRICS was first coined in 2001 by economist Jim O'Neill to describe the fast-growing economies of Brazil, Russia, India, and China. South Africa joined the group in 2010, completing the current lineup. Together, these nations form a diverse coalition that spans 4 continents and encompasses a wide range of economic and political systems. BRICS was established with the goal of promoting economic cooperation, development, and political dialogue among its members. Over the years, the group has evolved into a platform for addressing global challenges, from climate change and poverty to trade and security. But perhaps most importantly, BRICS serves as a counterbalance to the dominance of Western-led institutions, giving emerging economies a voice on the global stage. Russia's role in BRICS has always been unique. As a major global power with vast natural resources and a highly skilled workforce, Russia brings significant economic and political clout to the group. However, its relationship with the West has been fraught with tension, particularly in recent years. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has put Russia at odds with Western nations, leading to severe economic sanctions and diplomatic isolation. In this context, BRICS has become a crucial lifeline for Russia, providing a platform to strengthen ties with other emerging economies and counter Western influence. At this year's summit, Russia's priorities were clear. First and foremost, Moscow aimed to promote the idea of de-dollarization, reducing the global reliance on the US dollar in international trade. Russia argues that the dollar's dominance gives the United States disproportionate control over the global financial system, allowing it to impose sanctions and influence economic policies worldwide. Russia also emphasized the importance of alternative financial institutions, such as the New Development Bank, NDB, also known as the BRICS Bank. Established in 2014, the NDB aims to provide funding for infrastructure and development projects in BRICS countries and other emerging economies. For Russia, the NDB represents a viable alternative to Western-dominated institutions like the IMF and the World Bank. While the BRICS nations share a common goal of rebalancing global influence, they also face significant internal challenges. After all, BRICS isn't a monolithic entity. It's a coalition of 5 nations, with vastly different economic and political priorities. Take India and China, for example. While both are key players in BRICS, they have a long history of border disputes and competing strategic interests. Similarly, Brazil and South Africa, as regional powers, often find themselves balancing their BRICS commitments with alliances in the Americas and Africa, respectively. Then there's the economic disparity within BRICS. China's GDP is larger than the combined GDP of all the other BRICS nations, leading to concerns about Beijing's growing influence within the group. These internal dynamics make it challenging for BRICS to act as a cohesive unit, particularly when addressing global issues like climate change, trade policies, and geopolitical conflicts. For now, it's clear that the BRICS summit has sparked a conversation about power, influence, and economic sovereignty, and it's a conversation that's far from over.